Well, Chris, that's an active threat to the president of the United States. I find that an actually credible threat. I don't know how he can get away with it. But then again, I remind myself all the time, he's a Democrat. He can get away with anything he wants. And I don't know how he would fare if he were to walk down the streets of New York, at least not in my neck of the woods, where he's polling very low in Long Island and in Northeast Queens, where historically we have the highest turnout for gubernatorial races against him with the last two elections. So the way I'll put it to you is anybody that makes that kind of threat in the capacity of governor, the executive leader of a state, should really be reprimanded. And I'm surprised that nobody's calling for that reprimand. Imagine if you were a Republican governor and there were a sitting Democratic president, Obama, for instance. Can you imagine the national outrage that would cause? Donald Trump has done more for New York City than Cuomo will ever dream of. All Cuomo does is go around renaming bridges and roads in the name of his own family. That's really what he's good for, and for really putting COVID patients inside nursing homes, as we all saw. So I would really like to see how he would fare taking a stroll down the city and looking at the city that he's helping destroy along with Bill de Blasio.
Yeah, I think so, too. I want you guys to both comment on this. Loveland, we'll start with you. Give me about 60 seconds each, will you? The kids are not back in school. Democrats always say they're the party of science or the party of education, yet they are working to keep kids out of the classroom. Loveland, you've seen the science, as have all these parents around the country. Shouldn't they be back in school?
They should definitely be back in school. And the parents are really frustrated because the kids have a really hard time with the online learning. I mean, I think for even adults, it's hard to do things via Zoom constantly, much less a child really has a hard time, I think, with paying attention, actually learning something. Parents need to get back to work. The kids want to get back to their routine. This is not the new normal. We keep hearing, oh, the new normal. It's not the new normal. And it's just high time that we stood up and said, no, the kids need to go back to school. And not meaning put them back in school and put them in a bubble or some plastic wrap or some crazy thing. Just let them go to school. They have shown that this particular disease, kids usually, if they do get it, they either have asymptomatic or they survive it fairly easily. So I don't really see there being a real reason other than maybe political to keep them out of school. Does it make sense?
Yeah, Mr. Santos, your comment on the schools.
Well, for the last decade, we've been preaching about how we need to reduce screen time, reduce technology time, how it's bad for kids, how it's unhealthy. And now they want to convert kids virtually 100% in front of a screen, right? An iPad, a computer, whatever the case is. I have a lot of messages from concerned parents coming in my way on how to help them. For instance, a kindergartner in Long Island is going to be forced to go through virtual school for the first time ever that child's attending school. So there's no social interaction with other children. There's no learning your ABCs the traditional way. How in the hell is this child going to have a base of social skills and to actually go to first grade? That's really what concerns me. We've been preaching screen time is bad. Do not let your child be stuck on video games, tablets, phones. And now we're doing the polar opposite. That just shows that this is a Democratic bias on trying to slow down the economic growth, because keeping kids out of schools keep parents out of jobs and it keeps unemployment numbers higher. That's essentially what it is.
Loveland,